Everyone, Daniel Marks, Cardworks. Want to talk to you about some of our reporting that went out yesterday. If you have looked at our report, you know that there's always a video at the top of it. The video at the top of this month's report that went out on November 2nd spoke to some changes in meta technology and targeting, some things that they have forced us as advertisers in the automotive space to comply with, and ultimately created a watered down product in Meta's advertising suite. We've had this conversation with a handful of clients in the last 48 hours, and I wanted to create another video because the video that was on our report was viewed twice by two people, and the report goes out to many multiples of that. So I wanted to make sure that everybody is up to date on what's happening with Meta, what to expect moving forward, whether or not it's a vendor problem or whether it's a technology problem, and ultimately what is the value of Meta advertising in totality in this landscape. The conversations I'm having with folks are seeing from their analytics companies or other agencies that run analytics meetings for them that they're seeing basically a 10 to 15% dip in traffic during the month of October from CardWorks, Meta, Facebook, Instagram advertising. I think 10 to 15% is a liberal number. It's probably closer to 5 to 10 for most stores. Some of them were even less than that. But ultimately, we want to talk about what's happening. So in 2021, Apple released ATT, App Tracking Transparency, which is where they had that prompt that popped up on your iPhone that says, do you want to allow this app to track you? And ultimately, most people, 90+%, opt out of allowing iOS to give data to Facebook or Instagram or any of these other apps that want to track you and provide that information to advertisers to better the experience. As a byproduct of that, they gave us some watered down tools in 2021 comparatively to what we had prior to that, which we had implemented and you've been running on ever since. Just recently, in the month of October, they came out, and I think it was the 12th of October, that we had to have all of those audiences extracted from your campaigns, and we had to replace them with more muted top-level data that's provided by the Meta system. The ability to build SAAs, or special ad audiences, which were lookalikes of data sets that we were able to create, is no longer an option. So in conjunction with having a less capable ad set, they also were flipping our campaigns on and off throughout the month of October, which led to a discrepancy in traffic compared to the month prior. But ultimately, what we want to talk about is it still valuable to advertise on Meta properties? And CardWorks' goal and mission in this space is to always be above board and transparent. And if I ever get to a point where I think it doesn't make sense to advertise on Meta properties, I'll be the first one to tell you to take your dollars and go somewhere else. And this is coming from someone who focuses their efforts on Meta properties. I do think that over time, the product that is offered to us as advertisers has been watered down. I anticipate that will continue in the future. But ultimately, even at 10 or 15% dip in traffic comparatively to your average over the last 3 or 4 years, the last 2 or 3 years, you need to look at what kind of traffic you're generating today, and you need to base it on a per dollar basis. So when a agency says, hey, CardWorks performance dipped 10 or 15%, you need to put the dollar value of how much you're spending on ad expense next to the traffic that we're generating, and then look at the next lower down. In several cases of clients we talked to yesterday, we were still the number one traffic source, even with this new targeting to their website. And in conjunction with that fact, we were usually spending a multiple less than the next lower traffic driver. So if we generated 10,000 clicks and spent $1,000, then the next one generated 8,000 clicks and spent $2,000 or $3,000. And so when you comparatively look at the value of Meta advertising in that construct, you see that it's still valuable. If we're, a top 1, 2, or 3 traffic source to your website, and we are the cheapest or among the cheapest of data and expense that's driving that traffic, it could be argued that traffic is still quite valuable until we get to a point where it literally costs more to drive people to your site than it does on Google or than it does on other mediums that you may be using. It's still a very viable medium. And so for now, we were going to keep pushing forward. We're going to keep doing what we can with what we've got. We're always going to be pushing the envelope on the tools that are provided to us and ensuring that we're using them to the best of the ability. But we want to be upfront and transparent regarding these changes, regarding the drop in data, and preparing you to see these numbers when you look at reports, but also preparing you to be able to quantify that data and make it relational with other traffic driving activities and what those activities cost. So if we get to the point where the cost benefit analysis doesn't make sense anymore, I promise you our video at the top of our report will be the first to note it, and we will be looking for our pivot of which direction we're going to go in terms of how we want to help dealers next. Until we get there, just wanted to give you some insight and let you understand what we're seeing and how we're processing it. If you have any questions, as always, you can call us, text us, email us. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you for your business. Take care. Have a great day.